Welcome back on Dynamod. Today I want to propose you a video about the rules of the Codex Necron 2020 because it's really quite full of rules. I decided to create different videos with a focus each one on a different set of videos, and you can find everything about such rules in the playlist in the description, so not worry about this, and remember that you can find everything there. So now we can start seeing the rules related about the Warlord Traits. And about the Warlord Traits, I want to remind you that you can choose or roll for. We had the general Warlord Traits and the specific one for the 6 main dynasties, so we'll see both of them. And about the Warlord Traits, I want to remind you that you can have with a stratagem the option to gain other models with Warlord Traits, but they will not be anyway the Warlord. The Warlord, it will be only one anyway, even if the other count as Warlord for that Warlord trait ability. And remember that you have the stratagem to give them, but you have also to remember that when you give the Warlord trait to a model, that dynasty keyword that eventually is in the ability becomes the dynasty of the Warlord, so pay attention. And in the case that the dynasty agent is the keyword of that model, then all the instances about dynasty keyword for your warlord becomes Necrons. So it becomes really quite interesting to understand how you can make some combinations, so pay attention. And the first one about the Warlord traits, the general ones, we can find Enduring Will, that make that each time an attack is allocated to this Warlord, you can subtract 1 from the damage characteristic of that attack to a minimum of 1. So it can be quite useful in this case, because it's mainly useful if you make that the model goes in close combat. But if there are some marksmen and so on, can be anyway quite useful to make that your general is safer. And then we have Eternal Madness, that make that each time this Warlord make a melee attack, you can reroll the wound roll. So it's a rerolling for the wound roll, but only melee once. So you have to send your Warlord in close combat. So pay attention about such detail because it's important. Can be quite useful with certain dynasties, but it's something that you have to pay attention about. And then we have Immortal Pride, that makes that each time this Warlord will lose a wound as a result of a mortal wound on FA+, that wound is not lost. And it's not bad, because usually the models has the armor save, they have the invulnerable save. Having this, it's a way to prevent the mortal wounds, so it can be a great cover about the damages. Moreover, this Warlord has the following ability, that it's Mortal Pride, that it's an aura, so it has a range, and with a friendly dynasty core unit within 6 inches of this model, each time a combat attrition test is taken for that unit, ignore any or all modifiers. It means that you can make that you can allow the positive modifiers and negate the negative ones. So it can be quite interesting. So it's something that it's both selfish, because it has a way to prevent eventually the wounds on itself, but also improve the units around. So I think that it's one of the best that you can choose from. And the next one is Thrall of the Silent King, that lets you add 3 to the range of this Warlord aura abilities to a maximum of 9 inch. And in addition, when this Warlord uses these My Will Be Done, the Lord's Will or Adaptive Strategic abilities, you can select one friendly core unit within 12 inch of this Warlord instead of 9 inch. So it's a great way to improve the range of any model that it's a child that you choose as your Warlord. So I think that it's something that you have really to think about as your choose. And then we have Implacable Conqueror, that it's an aura one. Let's say that while a friendly core unit is within 6 inch of this Warlord, you can reroll charge rolls made for that unit. It's a bit problematic that it's only for core units, but still you can reroll the charge rolls. So I think that it can be useful a lot. It depends on how you are going to plan and create your own army, because you have to put that the general, the warlord, it's in the middle of the unit and has to be core ones to use such warlord trait. So eventually you can think about using this as a secondary warlord trait than a main one. And then we have Honorable Combatant that let you in the fight phase, each time this warlord is ready to fight, it can engage in an honorable combat. If it does, select one enemy charter unit until the end of the phase as due to the attack characteristic of this warlord, but it can only make attacks that target that enemy charter unit. So it can be useful, but the problem is that it's only against charters. So it has to be really like hunting the enemy charters, in this case this warlord. So we had to create a really specific one to gain this bonus. And then we had the dynastic warlord traits that are about the 6 main dynasty about the Necrons. And the first one that you can find, it's about the Maverick, that it's Merciless Tyrant. And it makes you add 1 to the strength and attack characteristic of this warlord. Sincerely, I find it a bit strange because Maverick it's mainly related about shooting in short range, but still it's a way that make that your warlord it's better in close combat, so it's something that it's welcome in the case that you want to balance your own warlord. And then we had the Maverick with Skin of Living Gold, that makes that each time an attack is made against this warlord, subtract 1 from that attack's hit roll, and so it works both in shooting and melee. So it's quite interesting this one for the Maverick, because it means that you have a warlord that is more resilient against the attacks, so not bad. And then we have Nihilak that has Precognitive Strike, that makes that at the start of the fight phase, if this warlord is within a engagement range of enemy units, then it can attack first that phase. So it means that it has an attack first, so it can be useful again only in close combat. And then we had the Novoc Blood Fueled Fury, that makes that each time this warlord make a melee attack and a modified wound roll of 6 inflict 1 mortal wound on the target in addition to any normal damage, so it can be quite useful again in close combat. And finally, something that it's not related about the close combat, we had the Soutec with hyperlogical strategies that say that while this warlord is on the battlefield, each time you spend a command point, not each time you use a stratagem, but each time you spend a command point to use a stratagem, you can roll a d6 and on a 5+, that command point is refunded. It's really amazing, really. This, if you're going to play the Soutec, you have to take main one, secondary one, not mind, you have to take this. And then we had the Zarkon Triax Will, that let you, if your warlord has this warlord trait, then when assigning the command protocols for the battle that we see in another video, then you can select 4 command protocols instead of 5, and then one of those command protocols can be assigned to 2 battle rounds instead of 1. It's really quite amazing to have more control on those command protocols, so really quite interesting to play with. So this is strategical, one of the best. You can compare it with the Soutec one about being strategical. And we have to remember that they named characters as specific warlord traits. So the Silent King has the Triax Will, the Imhotep the Stormlord as Hyperlogical Strategist, the Nemesor Xantrek as Eternal Madness, Vargard Oberon as Honorable Combatant, Illuminor Xeras as Enduring Will, Orican the Divine as Immortal Pride, Anrakir the Traveler as Implacable Conqueror, and Trasin the Infinite as Enduring Will, again as it has the Illuminor Xeras. So you have to remember that if you are going to use such ones, you have to access to only such warlord traits, specific ones. So remember that there is such limitation, but it's not bad because they are quite characteristic for such named characters. And so these are the warlord traits. I think that there are many interesting ones. Some of them are really quite specific, so you have to create a mod specific for that warlord traits. Others are really quite useful to amplify the options of your army, so it's up to you to decide how you are going to use such ones. But remember that if you need more than one, you can have access to having more characters with a Warlord trait, not repeatable, I want to remind you. Anyway, there are really nice choices that can make more characteristic, more fit for your army, so it's quite interesting. Anyway,
from Dynamod it's everything. I invite you to put a like on this video, to subscribe to the channel, to ring the bell, and to comment this video if you are interested in something about this video or you want to suggest me some arguments for other videos. I hope to see you again to the next time.